Something big and very strategic is happening in West Asia. What once looked like the US-led vision for rebuilding Gaza is now turning into a complex power game, where regional players they are no longer just following Washington's lead. And guess what? At the center of this shifting equation is Donald Trump, who had earlier pushed a bold idea of reshaping Gaza after the conflict. Well, the plan it was kind of presented as a pathway of stability, combining reconstruction, economic control, political influence. But today, that vision appears to be facing quiet resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, here's where it gets interesting. Instead of relying purely on American direction, Gulf players are stepping in with their own strategies. One major name that is being discussed is the DP World, a global giant that controls ports and supply chain across continents. In fact, reports suggest discussions are happening around who will manage the critical infrastructure like ports, cargo routes, and rebuilding logistics inside Gaza. And you know what? This really matters. Why? Because control over supply chain, it is not just about goods, right? It is about power. Whosoever controls ports and logistics, that person, that country controls the access, influence, long-term economic direction. In place like Gaza, which needs massive rebuilding after conflict, this becomes even more critical, and this is where the shift that becomes visible. Arab nations, specifically in the Gulf, they are no longer just reacting to the US decisions. They are actively shaping the outcomes. Over the past decade, countries like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they have expanded their global economic reach, investing in ports, energy, infrastructure from Africa to Europe. And now that same influence is being applied closer to home. And yes, at the very same time, the broader regional equation is adding pressure here. The ongoing tension involving Iran, the crisis in Gaza, and shifting alliances are forcing countries to rethink their strategies. Here, many Gulf states, they want stability, not prolonged conflict, and if that means taking control of key projects themselves, they are ready to do that. But you know what this means for the United States? Well, it suggests that Washington's traditional dominance in that region is being challenged now. Not through any direct confrontation, but through economic and strategic independence. Allies are not necessarily turning against the US, let's note that, but they are clearly becoming more self-driven. And this moment matters because this is not just about one project or one plan. It's about larger transition from the US-centric West Asia to more multipolar vision where local powers have greater control. So, the Gulf is now changing. Definitely, old alliances are being redefined, new players are stepping up. And the biggest question now is this a temporary shift or the beginning of completely new power order in West Asia?